Good evening, party people. It is the full moon.
Hello,
It is the
hello,
full moon.
hello.
Your witches.
It is. And we're going to howl. Oh,
That was
that
pathetic.
was
That was
pathetic.
very pathetic. Let's.
I tried. I
um,
tried.
I got nothing, as you heard. Um, how was your week?
Good. It was
It was
good.
good.
I did a
You
lot
know
of
what?
nothing.
Sometimes a lot of nothing is a lot to do.
It
So,
is.
I commend you for that.
I know. It's been fabulous.
So I had this wicked idea driving to work this morning. My Spotify was hitting it all the good, theme songs that you're like, oh, I remember where I was at with this song. I remember what I was doing with this song. So I have a question. If your life had a theme song and anybody out there, feel free to toss us in the comments, hit one of us up on Instagram, because I'd love to hear from everybody about this. If your life had a theme song, Lav, what would it be?
Hmm. What would my theme song be? I mean, there's so many good options. But I feel like everyone is going to choose, like, the good ones. So, I feel like my theme song would be Hear Me Now by the Bad Wolves.
I love that one. Let's play a little clip.
Don't wanna live for nothing, just wanna be something. I never knew what it took to win.
I hope everybody liked that.
So what would your theme song be?
You know what? My theme song is actually called Popular Monster. So I'm going to play my favorite
Oh,
clip
that's a
from
good one.
that.
Wondering, praying to a God that you don't believe. We're searching for the truth in the lost details. So the question I ask is, where the fuck is your God?
You guys like
We've
that
been
one?
jamming.
Yeah, I hope you guys like that one. It's a little controversial, but hey, so's your favorite kitchen witch, right? So let's get in to our topic today. This has a very light listener discretion, but
I mean, we didn't put a discretion on the last one with the butt plugs.
and you know what? That's another thing, you guys listening to us. If you've got a fun sex toy story, fucking shoot it. Yes, please do, because there's no holds barred.
Story. Oh God, we will have you on in a heartbeat. Tell us all about it. If you can make the pop noises when you're pulling out the anal beads, can you hear that?
I'm very. Actually,
You're just watching me be stupid right now.
I can't make any kind of those funky noises, so I just kind of imagine this like ah, sound. I don't know. Yeah, no holds barred here. We're adults. We talk about adult shit. And if you're letting your kids listen to this, shame on you. But for those of you, but for everybody else that's still with us, ask yourselves this: how far would you go to cover up a lie? Would you try to cover it with another lie? Would you steal or run away from the situation? Or would you kill to cover up that lie?
I mean, if it was a little white lie and I'm getting found out, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're right. I fibbed a little. But if it's something that like I really feel like I'm lying and I really have to figure out this lie. Oh no, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, and if I've invested in that lie,
for the rest of my life.
sacrifices may have to be made. I was gonna say, you could like do the
I'll change my name
mohawk.
and
I'll
cut
grow
my
my hair out. And
gonna be
remember,
Stacy
when the
with a
cops
mohawk.
pull us over, you're deaf and I don't speak English. That's
Oh look, I think I would look good with a mohawk.
Seriously, that looks like Gomez's tail right in front. You,
Oh,
not my
man.
dog's butt, but the little. Okay, yeah, foot, mouth. Here we go. Of course.
Dog butt. Ugh.
Just for everybody, I did not call my host a dog butt, please, by all means. And Gomez's butt is very cute. So, uh, true.
No, at least
So
in a cute butt.
when women kill, it's usually for love, over jealousy or greed. And in the United States, between 20 and 40% of murders are committed by women. It's pretty low number considering how many murders there are in the United States. But considering almost half of them are committed by women is not something that we should take too lightly. Considering as we travel virtually to India, only 6.7% of murders are committed by women.
That's a lot
Yeah,
less.
it's a very low number.
A lot.
There have been 3 sensationalized cases in India perpetrated by women. The first being Raman Kaur Maan, along with her lover Gurpreet Singh. They both sit on death row for the murder of Raman's husband, Sujit. And Raman, being a doctor by trade, is very respected, is very prestigious, even here, but especially being a female in the medical field in India, you're up with like the head honchos. And she sits on death row right now, about to be the first woman hung in India for murder.
Wow.
They still hang.
still hang in
There's
India.
no, hey, we're gonna just, give you some meds. You're gonna pass out, and then we're gonna fucking kill you. It's no. You get marched out into the public square. They have a guillotine built. You stand there. You face your accusers, and you drop. It's probably why only 6.7% of women kill.
Right.
Shanam Ali is next on our list, and hers is a tale of brutality. Along with her illicit lover, they committed familicide. Can you tell us, Lab, what familicide is?
Familicide is when a member of the family, usually like the immediate family, everybody that kind of lives together in the same house, kills everyone else in their family. They just slaughter them.
Yes. Yeah, it's usually parents, like you said, spouses, siblings, children. Shanam and her lover sedated her parents, both of her brothers, her sister-in-law, and her 14-year-old cousin. Her 10-month-old niece was the only member not sedated when Shanam proceeded to dismember her family with an axe.
So she dismembered the poor baby without being sedated? Without it being sedated? I can't talk today, guys.
No. And then I'm going to quote our very good friend Nisha from Hot Garbage. The stupidest part of the crime was her boyfriend that she killed her family over, goes out into the forest, not even 10 paces from their house, and comes back to the police and says, "Here, I think this is the murder weapon," as he's holding a hatchet. And it's bloody. And your fingers are all over it.
Did he know that she killed them?
Yes. No, he knew because he helped.
Really an idiot?
But
so why is he telling on it?
Because he realized that his ass was going to be hung alongside of her. And you know how killer couples are. They're all in until the whistle gets blown, and then you know what? Bye. No, he made me do it. No, she made me do it. Yeah. Fucking weirdos. The third is the case we'll be covering. And this is the case of the cyanide killer, Jolly Joseph.
Jolly
Jolly was
Joseph.
born, Jolly Joseph. Jolly was born to a family of farmers from Sukaman. I'm so sorry if I pronounce this wrong. It's a friend of mine at work. Katatapan? Anybody, if you know how to pronounce these, please, because I'm not trying to slaughter anybody's name or your hometowns or anything. Um, Jolly was flashy, very outgoing, and ambitious. Her sights wandered past the simple life of a farmer's wife and would fall on a cousin from her paternal side named Roy Thomas. Um, Same bloodline.
Okay. So she's having some fun there with Roy Rogers.
Funny, that's my nephew's name.
Oh, really? I was just thinking about chicken. I was like, I want some chicken. Sounds good.
Yep, yep. It actually does sound really good right
Pretty.
now. Little Popeyes. Yeah, my nephew is Roy
Oh,
Robert
why? Why the
Rogers.
R's? Triple
Yeah, family. His dad was a fucking
R?
moron. Anyway,
Is that
no
what he
male bashing.
called him?
I'm sorry, gentlemen. If you're a good father, please be. His was not.
Yeah. Continue to be a good father.
Please, yes. At a party held by Roy's uncle Mushadali, Jolly approached Roy, and they began a correspondence that would lead, against Jolly's family's wishes, to marry in 1997. So during these correspondence, Roy's sister and his brother, so Rojo and Rinji, were
Rojo and Rinji.
Rinji, Rojo, and Roy. There's your 3 R's again. So they were, significantly younger than Roy, and they're, screwing around like kids do. And so I learned this during the documentary,
Right.
that she made him cards, and it would say things like, "You're you're my love, you're my star, you're my," um, and they put them into like little albums, and these are the direct kind of correspondence that parents want to see when people are courting their children. And Roy was painfully shy, painfully awkward. So Jolly took the initiative and courted him because his family was very well known, very civilized, and they were pretty well off. Oh yeah, just
Gold
as you'll see.
digger.
Anna Thomas, Roy's mother, had worked her whole life as a teacher. The matriarch of the Thomases family questioned Jolly about her education and her going to work. And Jolly bragged about being the only member of her family to go to college. She produced a degree and agreed to work. But before getting a job, Jolly announces that she's pregnant. This brought on a great celebration because Jolly would deliver the first child of the family. Roy's siblings were not married yet because, as we just said, they were very young. Right. I discovered in the Indian culture, same as in my culture, in Portuguese culture,
They're younger, right.
the firstborn grandchild is the king, queen. They rule the family. So all the greats, the great aunts, great uncles, grandparents, great grandparents, all of that, plus the new parents' siblings, just shower them with money, with gifts, with services. Like when my sister gave birth to my nephew, she was the firstborn of our family, and then he was the firstborn of the family. We had family members coming from all over to clean her house, cook her meals. They put the baby in cloth diapers. I mean, it was nothing but the best. And that's how this was with them as well. But then the baby was born, and Anima told Jolly she would be caring for the new baby, and Jolly would be working because Anima had retired from teaching. And this was not a request. It wasn't, hey, do you mind if I take care of the baby and then you go ahead and be free to work? No, it was, I'm caring for this baby and you're going to work.
Okay, so grandma's watching baby.
Jolly had no intention of working. And
no
after
options.
Anima had retired, Jolly became afraid she'd be found out. See, Jolly was not a college graduate. In fact, she had dropped out within the first year. Jolly was biding her time, praying that she would not be found out. But truthfully, Anima stood in the way of Jolly's dishonest ambitions. So it wasn't only that she was afraid that she would be found out for these lies. She wanted to rule. She wanted the power that Anima had in the family. So in 2002, what's up?
So she wanted to be the big bad bitch.
I learned through some different websites and also talking to a few people that the matriarch in India runs the house. The father may be the head, and when they go out, the father is the head, the father is listened to. But when you get home, mama rules. And mama has all of the power in the family. You know what? In a two female household, my wife is the head of our family. She eats first. She sits at the head of our table. She is the head of the family. But once that door closes and our guests have gone or we've come back home, this bitch is mine. And I'm the evil queen of the castle. So I know exactly how that is. In 2002, after eating a bowl of mutton soup, Anima went to her room where Renji would discover her mother violently ill and expressing her fear that she was dying. Renji finds her sitting on the edge of the bed. She's vomiting. She has white foam around her mouth. And she kept saying, oh my God, my daughter, I'm dying.
Okay.
I'm dying. I'm afraid I'm dying. After arriving at the local hospital, Anima Thomas would pass away, and due to her advanced age, is diagnosed with having a massive heart attack. Within days, Jolly took over the family affairs, but was unable to obtain everything due to Roy not being the only heir.
Okay.
So she didn't do her homework. She really truly thought she would just step into Anima's place and she would be Anima. Roy's father, Tom. One more time.
I know. About an identity thief.
But it just what she continues as you guys will hear. What she continues to do is, and we'll talk about this because of how it starts is not how it ends. So you guys you'll be in for a little bit of a twist. Roy's father, Tom, suffering from grief, left to visit Renji, who now was married and living in Colombia. Roy, being unlike the other members of his family, he did not have a stable job, and he could not finance the lavish lifestyle Jolly desired. She married the wrong brother.
She married wrong.
Tom, who had retired from the education department, where he was the senior clerk, owned a quite substantial estate, including the mansion that the Thomas family lived in. The pictures that I saw of the Thomas estate in its heyday is gorgeous. They had they were 2 levels. They had these beautiful balconies, flowers everywhere, this wrought iron gate, and they were at the head of the neighborhood. And neighbors would walk by, they'd walk into the yard, they'd say hi to Jolly, they'd say hi to the family, and they were just perceived as being not only the most established family in the village where they lived, but the nicest and the most giving and the most caring. Jolly, fearing Rojo would inherit the family's estate, hatched a plan.
Okay.
Calling Tom back from Sri Lanka, where he was vacationing with Renji and her family, Jolly cries to Tom that she's pregnant again, and Roy isn't supporting her due to his heavy drinking. He's going out at night. He's not taking care of me. He's not taking care of our first son. You got to come home, Pop. You got to come home. And Tom, being the family man that he was, he rushed home. The night that he arrived home, he goes to his room to take his nightly herbal supplements, which Jolly ends up giving him on this night, which was very unordinary. And when Tom questioned her, she said, well, I promised Anima as her spirit crossed over to take care of you, and I will take care of you. That in itself is just a little ominous, because I'm like, and even the way it was described by the other family members, it's like, I don't know what made him take it, because she's like, here, there's your supplements. And he's like, no, my supplements are here. No, I got them out of the bowl for you here. And he's standing in the room, and the bowl's next to the sink, and he's standing right there.
You're going to see her real soon.
To honor his wife's wishes, he takes them. Tom becomes violently ill immediately. He's vomiting. He's got the white foam around his mouth. And Jolly, standing outside, listened as Tom thrashed around. Yeah, she stood right outside the door.
Wow.
As he fell to... apparently from... my research from the documentary was one place.
Was her ear against the door?
It was said that he was yelling and thrashing so loudly that he did get the attention of one of their village mates, one of their neighbors. And it's funny. It's funny because that neighbor will come into play.
Oh, really? Wow.
And once things became quiet, Jolly went next door, pleading with the neighbor, Fava. This is the same one who later will tell police that he heard the thrashing. And she begged him to take Tom to the hospital. So they got a electric rickshaw, which, if anybody doesn't know what those are, it's basically a motorcycle with a big old trailer kind of thing in the back where, well, you would know. It looks like a horse's carriage, but it's on a motorcycle. And so he takes them, and he realizes they look very similar, because he was there when Anima was taken to the hospital, and they look very similar. And when the rickshaw arrived at the hospital, Tom was DOA. and like his wife, was assumed to have had a heart attack just 6 years earlier. Mm-hmm. And the medical team, when they spoke to the police, they said, well, Anna Thomas had white phone. She was violently ill and she passed. Tom, white phone, violently ill, passed. It had to have been the same thing. They had no idea how right they really were. Before Tom could be laid to rest, Jolly obtained the deeds to his estate, forging the documents to name Roy as the only heir. And here's where things start to get a little funky. Between 2003 and 2011, a local jewelry clerk named M.S. Matthew began spending a lot of time with Jolly, both at and away from the Thomas estate. I have learned that in certain cultures, and India being one of those cultures, women do not go out unescorted by their men. So Jolly still leaving the house all the time. Hey, I'm going to go to lunch. I'm going to go have tea. I'm going to go have a coffee in the city, in town. And Roy, you're supposed to be at work. And so she would leave completely unattended. And it caught a lot of people's attention. I don't think you really should go outside of your social norms if you plan on doing things that are not quite on the up and up. Right. And especially if you go out, if you say you're going to go out and have a coffee and Thomas family members are in town and you're sitting and having a coffee with a man that's not your husband and your husband's not there, she's lucky they didn't go up and just smack her in her face, yank her out, and make her go home.
Right.
But Jolly, fearing Roy had or was about to find out about her affair with Miss Matthew, serves her husband dinner, and minutes later would, air quotes, find him in the bathroom. And you guessed it, violently ill. She called once again to the neighbor, Bava, and pleaded with him, please take Roy to the hospital. I can't leave my children here without being attended. So Bava takes Roy and notices his symptoms are very close, if not identical, to his parents and their deaths. Again, declared a heart attack. Jolly would tell people Roy committed suicide.
Why?
Absolutely. There was no reason for this. None. Right.
Not at all. Nobody would have suspected anything. And then you're going to go lie? Everybody's going to be like, what the hell are you lying about? What are you hiding?
Or it's going to be like, what's the matter with you? The doctor said he had a heart attack. Why did you say it's suicide? And as well.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make your own heart stop? You're going to wheel it, stop beating. I want to die.
And the thing of it was, and this was something that was kind of, when the little hush-hush talks start happening, when things aren't, copacetic in the neighborhood, a lot of the neighbors and things would talk and say, well, what did he have to commit suicide for? His life was not bad. Yes, he had lost his parents, but he was now man of the house. And he had a wife and he had kids. And he was actually working.
Right.
But Jolly's discrepancies in her stories would catch the attention of Renji, Rojo, and Tom's brother, Mashadali. Remember, Mashadali is the one who had the party that Jolly and Roy met at. Something was definitely suspicious about these three deaths. Okay. Uncle Mashandali filed a complaint with police about their concerns that their family's deaths were not natural. They were murder.
I agree.
At the Thomas home, Uncle goes to confront Jolly about her affair with MS Machu. Because he now at this time is spending large amounts at the Thomas estate.
Oh, okay.
And Jolly, after mixing Uncle a drink, because Uncle liked to have a little mixed drink, as he's getting ready to bust out his niece-in-law's affair.
Right.
Becomes the fourth Thomas family member to die.
Of a heart attack.
Renji and Rojo wanted to have the family crypt opened and the bodies exhumed.
I would too.
They pleaded, they begged with the medical examiners, with the police department, that there was no way 4 members of their family could have died from a heart attack. And Renji even went on to tell authorities that Jolly had said her brother's death was a suicide when his official death was listed as a heart attack.
Tough ass.
I know I mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again. I was in healthcare for 12 years. And we would have families that would be at the bedside of their loved one. And they'd be telling the doctor, this is not normal. This is not normal. And the doctor would be like, hello, I have a degree. I'm an MD. You can't tell me what to do. Only to come back 10, 15 minutes later and be like, so I was wrong. Oh, you're human. Oh, you were wrong? You're a human.
Right.
So you can't tell me that somewhere within this chain of medical and law enforcement authorities that something didn't stand out to them. As things about Jolly were starting to not add up, Jolly shows up at the family home with a faculty ID from the local NIT college in Calcutta. Now, NIT is a very prestigious college in India. This is where the upper crust, the brilliant, most intelligent students go and graduate from. And as professors, these are the most intelligent, skilled, gifted professors in the country. And Jolly claimed, and by a show of her ID, that she was a professor of literature. Yeah. In 2016, Jolly set her greedy heart on Roy's first cousin, Shazu Zacharias.
I like that.
When my son's being a douche, I'll be like, Zacharias. And I was like, my name's Zachary. Okay. So then I pulled the whole hocus pocus. All right, Thackeray. It's fun. It's fun. Because I love seeing his face get all red. Shaju was the head of a very prestigious family. And Jolly, with dollar signs in her eyes, began spending enormous amounts of time with the Zacharias family.
I don't even know what to say.
I'm sorry. I'm envisioning myself as Shanju's wife. And the minute she came for the second, third, or fourth time that week, I would pull him to the side and be like, dude, 4 people in her family just died. Kick that bitch out. Something's wrong. She's either got a demon following her. And the funny thing is,
right?
she just sat back and welcomed her in
A curse on her,
because
or
she was
something.
a good family matriarch. She knew her role as being a wealthy wife, and she knew that when family came to visit, you welcome them. When neighbors come to visit, you welcome them. She was very refined, so she knew her place. Which, as we'll see, doesn't bid very well for her. During the baptism of Sanju's youngest child, his 2-year-old daughter, Alphine, chokes on a piece of food given to her by Jolly Joseph. Yep. Alpine would convulse and die in the church, full of people, being passed to her father from Jolly's arms. This horrific woman murdered a 2-year-old child because she wanted Sanji. She wanted the life that his wife Celie enjoyed. And as we see,
oh Lord,
it has gone past a lie. It has gone past even her place in her own marriage to now she's starting to take matters in her own hands and eliminating anybody that is getting in her way. And it didn't matter if you were a 70-year-old woman or a 2-year-old child. You were not. That's right. That's right. Not long after Alphine's death, Jolly was remembered saying around the neighborhood that she would love to have a husband like Sanji. Sanji has a good life. He's a good provider. Look at his family. If only I had married a man like Sanji and not Roy, I would not be cursed. My house is cursed.
Wow.
What? Why not just fucking tell on yourself? Seriously, I want a husband like Sanji. Of course you do. You're hanging out with his family. Right. Good money. I mean,
I want a husband like Sanji.
After accompanying Jolly to a dental appointment, Celie would fall to the floor and violently die. This is the 6th person to die while with Jolly Thomas. And okay, so here's the fucked up thing. In the United States, if somebody dies in public,
she's on sick.
What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to investigate who was around. They're going to investigate where, and they're going to investigate by why. That's going to be an automatic autopsy because you just dropped dead in public. But autopsies and post-mortem exams are very frowned upon in India because it is seen as desecrating the corpse. So you're desecrating.
Right.
Yes, which I completely can understand, but at the same time, sometimes you've got to be brave and you've got to just say, whomever you call is your higher power, I will have to deal with them because this shit's going to stop. But in India, Celie's death was declared not suspicious.
Right. There's a lot of cultures that are like that.
Because she died in public. It was later revealed that Jolly had filled both of their cups with something to drink because they were walking from the village into town to the dentist. And she made their drinks and she handed Celie her cup. Again, I've been watching true crime since I was 13 years old. I know how that story goes. And you better believe when you're not looking, I'm switching it or I'm just not going to be thirsty or hungry or alone. And wouldn't you know, a year later, Jolly becomes the second Mrs. Zacharias. Got her man. Okay. Again, true crime, superstitious, the spouse always does it. If you start courting me and your husband died and you were there, no. No, I'm not interested anymore. You get the hell away from my house. And especially because my wife died with you? No. And my kid? No. Oh, get the hell away. Convinced Jolly was behind all of the deaths of their family, Rojo and Renji go to the police, demanding an investigation into the deaths, and is finally awarded an exhumation of the Thomas crypt and the Zacharias crypt. This polite, religious, prestigious professor, known to help anyone in her neighborhood and demonstrating the facade of the perfect woman on October 5th, 2019, will be arrested on the suspicion of her murdering 6 people.
Oh, no.
During the post-mortem, it's discovered each set of remains had cyanide soaked into their bones. If you look online, it will show the medical examiner's office exhuming the bodies. And because there was so much time in between, remember the first death was 2002. All the way now we're at 2019. There's been, massive decompensation or they broke down. Sorry, for some reason I can't get decompose out of my mouth. But there was just nothing but bones of these people left. But because cyanide is such a powerful poison, it had soaked in and it had stayed. It had made its mark. Jolly will confess that after reading in the newspaper, veterinarians using cyanide to rid the village of stray dogs approached MS Manchu, asking for this powerful poison to rid herself of a stray dog that would come into her home constantly. Okay. If you're listening to us and you know me, and for those of you who are just getting to know me, I am a major animal lover, especially dogs. I got 7 of them. I love them. So if you came anywhere in my earshot and said, hey, I'm going to kill this stray dog that's wandering into my house, I'd be like, you know what? No. You take me to that house. You show me that dog. I'll take him home. I'll feed him. But of course, in this village, there were stray dogs were like rats. There were so many of them that it was a nuisance. So I can understand that. Again, we live very different lives over here in the States. And thankfully, that would never be okay here. As the investigation progressed, it was finally brought to light. Jolly, who was now confessing, states her worst mistake was lying about being a college graduate.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, seriously, you gotta kill just because you don't want to admit you couldn't make it? Fuck, move out of the village. You know what? Leave the family alive, snatch some of that coin, hightail your ass out of town. This family would have survived. You could go live a life somewhere else. And the worst thing you would be in the village is a thief. Big deal. This family would not have lost their parents, their grandparents, their uncle. They wouldn't have lost this. Jolly confessed that she was not, big shocker, an NIT professor, had obtained cyanide from MS Matthew after beginning an affair with him.
This is all because she lied about graduating college.
Yes. Oh, you talk about, I like to joke with my friends and I'll tell them, hey, you just tell me what A you need me to be. Am I an alibi or am I an accomplice?
Oh, that's where she got it from, huh? He was an accomplice.
And we joke about that. But realistically, she went to this man. And I've never been with a man. Maybe you can speak on this. How easy is it to get a man to do pretty much anything you want by promising or giving sex to and then promising more? Not that you've ever done that. I'm just, not that you've ever done that. You've been with guys. I don't know. Because women don't do that shit.
Pretty easy. Oh no, you don't even have to have sex with them. Just show them your boobs, and they're gonna do whatever you want until they get tired of seeing your boobs and want new boobs. But yeah, you got a solid month of showing boobs, and they're gonna worship
by then you could have all 6 and almost 7 under your belt.
I know. I could have all kinds of stuff.
I guess I'm a simpleton. I would do it for a fucking bikini. My wife come out in her uniform, and you don't got to ask twice. I'll do whatever the hell you want. So she was not a member of the church. She had never been a member of the church. She was actually a calculating murderess. Bava, the Thomas neighbor, told a documentary news crew that Jolly would tell him, "My house is cursed. 3 close relatives had heart attacks, and my 2-year-old cousin choked to death." Just as Shaban Ali's family, the only curse to befall the Thomas family was Jolly herself.
I like that. That is so true. She must have had some glorious boobs.
You know what? Honestly, I've thought about this ever since doing the research stuff. I've thought about this. I remember in my 20s. Actually, I was 25. There was a woman that worked with me at my internship with LA County, and she just, I was infatuated. I was young. I moved from a small town to LA, and I went from being one of 3 lesbians to one of millions. And I was like, as a kid in a candy store, I thought I was the greatest thing ever. And I, cut it short, basically. If she said jump, I didn't even say how high. I was already on the ceiling waiting for her to tell me what she wanted up there. I would bring her coffee. I would bring her lunch. You name it. Because I hadn't learned at that time that someone who truly wants to be with you just wants to be with you. It's not what you do. It's not what you say. It's you. It's you being you. And like, I would take flowers in, I'd put them in a vase and be like, here, this to make your office pretty. And I found out probably about 3, 4 months later, that she was playing me. But anytime that she would show me a little bit of attention, I'd go right back into that,
Right.
doing whatever she wanted. And I could kind of see MS being this way because all the women of this village were very refined. They wore their outfits very clean. They were very traditional, and Jolly wasn't. She was flashy. She drove a moped. She wore American T-shirts, and I kind of
Right.
envisioned this poor homely looking guy thinking to himself, "Hey, she wants my attention, and all she's asking me for is cyanide to kill a dog? Okay." But as the affair continued, MS Manchu was he was arrested as well as her accomplice, and he did confess that after the second amount of cyanide that he gave her, because cyanide is used with jewelers to cut gold. It's I don't know exactly what it does. I just saw that they use it, to cut and clean up gold and stuff like that. So if anybody out there knows, I mean, I'll research it myself. But if anybody else knows, shoot us a message. I'd love to hear about that. But he confessed after the second time of giving her cyanide, he knew what she was doing. And he continued to give it to her because he wanted the benefits. So this man will hang. Jolly's attorney, when he
Right.
gets in to the interrogation room, where 3 hours before she had completely spilled her guts, confessed to everything, he gets in, he tells her to stop talking. She stops talking. It's the way lawyers all over the world do.
Wow.
And the investigators leave. He sits down, he turns to her, and she cries and pleads, telling him, "These cops are forcing me to say things that aren't true. They're forcing me to take the blame for MS Matthew and what he did. I didn't do this. I am not to blame." And because the investigation is semi still going on, in India, they have to try one case at a time. So she's murdered 6 people. It will take 6 years to try her on all of them, which her attorney is going to push for because um, the longer that he keeps her in court, the longer it keeps her off the news. MS does not get this opportunity. He will be hanged. He doesn't, yeah,
Okay.
because he did straight out confess, "I know." Her
Wow.
lawyer still says that he thinks she's being set up. She wanted well for herself, and because MS Matthew couldn't have her, no one would. So, what's your final thought on this? I mean, I've been saying my thoughts all throughout it, but what's your final thought on this?
I think I don't think her initial thoughts or the initial process was that she wanted to kill. She just wanted to be to create a whole life that she didn't have. She just wanted to be somebody she wasn't. She just couldn't accept who she really was, and she wanted to steal the life of somebody else, essentially.
Yeah, I agree. We get where we get by putting the work in. But we know we're not an island of ourselves that people don't, what my grandma used to say, beg, borrow, and steal to have a better life. I mean, they beg, borrow, steal, and kill for a better life
Yeah,
instead
apparently.
of putting the work in.
Slashing and dashing. Instead of putting in the work, instead of just going to school, she could have had her degree in the amount of time that she killed everybody. If she had just gone back to school.
Yeah. But she didn't want to go to school. She wanted to
I mean,
party. She wanted to marry well.
I wanted to marry well too. That didn't work out, so I went to school.
I went.
And I partied at the same time.
Well, I went to school because I wanted to marry for love, and I'm very lucky, and I got to marry for love. And there are some cultures, unfortunately, you better know it. And I thank the goddesses and my wife every day because I know how lucky I am. You have to also, you guys understand, a lot of our cultures on the other side of the pond, outside of our borders, women don't always have the same chances, opportunities that women here may have. But in India, they do. They're respected, they're loved, they're cherished, they can get educations. And she chose to go the wrong direction with that.
I don't know. That's one of the things like I can't wrap my head around is people that think that way. Like I can understand people that are like mass murderers or something because they're just like enraged and they're like just going to Hulk everything and fuck everything up. I can understand that. I can't understand somebody that's like, I don't even want to do a little bit of work. I'm going to take the easy way out. I don't get that.
It's like we were saying, women kill for greed. The state, they kill for love. I don't think she killed for love. I don't think there was anyone within her family that she loved because Rinji actually ends up raising her two sons. And, they both, when they were interviewed, they both said, thankfully for their auntie who stepped in and take care of them because they could have been next. Maybe they were the next ones in her way.
Right. And no, I don't. She definitely didn't have any compassion or any ability to love.
She was too busy creating a jolly that didn't exist. So, yeah. So, kudos.
Queen Jolly.
I love that.
Off with their heads.
So, kudos to Renji and Rojo. They followed their instincts. They listened, and they put a very dangerous woman
the streets.
Behind bars.
She was for the streets. That's the definition of the streets right there. She was definitely for the streets.
So, and she will hang for it. So anybody out there thinking about faking a college degree, just get your ass in there and do the work because that news is not worth it.
I mean, right now, like you can go to McDonald's and make just as much money as me, and I have a college degree, so you don't even have to do that. Yep. Like,
So with that, we will say good night to
sweet dreams or good morning.
Yeah,
whenever you're listening.
Wherever you're listening to us, good morning, good night. But we hope
enjoy your coffee, enjoy your whiskey or wine,
or your cranberry juice. And we'll see you guys again.
Catch you on the flip side.